Hi folks, Donkett's here, playing Sailaway, the Sailing Simulator. And where I left off yesterday, I was doing some tutorials. We're going through the tutorials. I don't know how many are left, but we shall see. Somebody asked about boats, and so we'll click on this. This is where you find more boats. This is the boat I'm on right now, and there's the Learn to Sail boat, and we were on the Offshore Racer in a previous video, and the Nordic folk boat, we were on that. And now if you click on Add Extra Boats, we will find, lo and behold, extra boats, and then we click on the info, and this one's a 27-footer. Or 8.5 meters. And let's go a little bit further. The Caribbean Rose is a 54-footer, close to 55, 16.68 meters. So those you would click on, and they would be added to your list of boats, and of course you could go sailing on them. And let's close that, and you get a catamaran as well if you want to play with those. There's another 52-footer. So there you go. There are other boats. Plus, if you get this game through Steam, Steam has a workshop, and fans of the game have been creating new boats for you to fool around with. So, all right, back we go. We're going to click back. Go to Activities, go to Tutorials, and what was the last one we planned? Yeah, this was for Casablanca to New York, and managed to get through that one. So now let's start. Gosh, there are a lot of tutorials. Naming of sails, how sails work, apparent wind, telltales, curve depth, curve position. Holy mackerel, look at all these. Top of the sail to you, bye. Controlling the depth of the sail, positioning the sail curve, and finally, opening and closing the top. Okay, let's move along then, shall we? Naming of lines. So let's click on that. By the way, if you do like this video, please do hit the like button. And if you look in the lower right corner, somewhere where my little cursor is floating around, there should be a little icon where you can subscribe to the channel. Now, let's click on Naming the Lines, explanation of the names of all the ropes. We call them lines on a boat. So, names of sails, okay? It is assumed in this tutorial that you already know the names of the various sails. If not, best run the sail types tutorial first. Did we do that? Also, don't worry about the purpose of some of the lines yet. We will cover that in another tutorial. Okay, wait a second. I guess maybe they're talking about was at the end of the last video or the previous. Yeah. I can't remember if it was called Names of Sails, but it did go through several sails, and oh yeah, it was in reference to various wind types. So I guess we have done the names of sails, so let's proceed. Everything starts with the line that is used to raise the sail, the halyard. It runs through a block in the top of the mast and pulls the sail up. Okay. Up there's a block, and line goes through there and pulls the sail up. If you were standing over here, can't zoom out, so the best we're going to do is this. Okay, the line is there. In this case, if it's the mainsail we're talking about, the line is inside the mast, and by pulling the rope, it goes up through the pulley at the top and raises the sail. Multiple halyards. Since a boat often has more than one sail, it also has more than one halyard. There are the mainsail halyard, Genoa halyard, jib halyard, and Jenniker halyard, etc. So, yeah, okay, that would be, what's that, a jib or a Genoa? Anyway, the halyard goes through there. There you go, you see it right there. Now, Genoa furler, often the Genoa can be rolled up at the front. In that case, there is a line that can be used to wind and unwind it. This line is indicated as Genoa furl, which is here. And I guess it runs back that way. I don't know why this arrow is coming back here. The line must come back, and you pull the line and it does a little spin around and rolls up the Genoa. I'm thinking. Well, thinking is best my limited knowledge can help me do. The sheet, if we'd simply raise the sail with the halyard, they would uselessly wave like a flag. So there is an extra line that pulls the sail toward the center of the boat. Toward the center of the boat. This is called the sheet. Okay. You pull the thing up, assuming it'd be fastened there, so you'd see that shape, but then there'd be a line, maybe some there, or it'd be just tagged on there, and it would tighten it, maybe? I'm not sure. As I say, I'm not a sailor, so we'll just have to figure it out as we go. The sheet is the most important line. You adjust it very often to match the angle of the sail to the wind. All sails have sheets. The mainsail, or the main sheet, Genoa sheet, jib sheet, Jenniker sheet, etc. Okay, like on the mainsail, the sheet was at the end of the mast this way. So this one's here, and it's not moving it back and forth like starboard port. It's pulling it towards the center of the boat. So I'm assuming that means it's like tightening it and loosening it. I'm assuming. I don't know. Okay. The bottom of the mainsail is attached to the boom. Boom. To the boom? I thought it was boon. Anyway, attached to the boom. There is a line that pulls this bottom. It pulls this bottom of the sail tight toward the back of the boom. The bottom of the mainsail, which is here, along here, and so there'd be a line there, I guess, wrapped around the end, and probably down here, so it'd be one of these lines, probably relevant to the color. If you knew the color code, it'd be good, and you tightened it that way. This is calling it a line in that case, not a sheet. This is called the out haul. Okay, so that's the tightening one then. The vang from the bottom of the mast to the boom runs a diagonal line that pulls the bottom down. This is called the vang from the bottom of the mast. From the bottom of the mast to the boom. So it would be from here to the bottom of the mast, not at the ends of the mast, but somewhere in there. Maybe that's what this is. That's a vang. Okay. Pulls the boom down. All right. The mainsail often has a line that pulls the bottom corner near the mast downward. This is called the Cunningham. Wow. Start to respect these sailor guys. You have to know all of this stuff. Okay, Traveler. The point where the main sheet, they're talking about a rope now, aren't they? The point where the main sheet block is mounted on the boat often runs on a rail. The car on this rail can be pulled forward and can be pulled towards wind side of the boat. This line is indicated as a traveler. We're talking about this thing, I guess. Can be pulled towards the wind side of the boat. Oops, I'm accidentally pulling the line. The wind side of the boat. That means the sail, let's say, would be, if the wind was coming in from that side, it would push the sail this way. And the point where the main sheet block is mounted on the boat. Assuming that's that thing. Can I go back there? Can't get up high enough to see it. Let's try getting over on the other side. Can't get up to see it from there, so we gotta go up here. And I'm assuming this is what they're talking about. There wasn't anything there, was there? No, it's just loose ropes. Okay, there's what you call the traveler. The lead car, the general sheet or jib sheet, runs along the sail to a point on the boat. This point is again attached to the rail and can be moved forward and backward. This line is indicated as general lead car or jib lead car. Okay, the same sort of thing we saw on that must be this one. And I guess it's not on this boat, I don't think, but there must be a rail or something so you can move that car back and forth that way. Next, final line we discussed runs from the mast down to the back of the boat. This is the back stay. That's a stay. Okay, that holds the mast in place. It doesn't adjust the sails. But imagine you could adjust it to the point, you could adjust the mast, which I don't think would be advisable. Adjust the mast and therefore the sails. But anyway, that's a stay. So that's a backstay. And that's it. We hope you can remember all of these, not a hope in hell. But if you can't, don't worry. The the game will try to help you where it can. Okay, so let's move on to the next tidbit of information. Here we go. We're going to now early sails. Sails used to be square cloths that tried to catch the wind. But these sails only work when the wind blows in the right direction. Sail technology has come a long way since then, and as has sail material. The image below is of a sail viewed from above. Note its curve. Okay, yeah, so in other words, it's catching the wind. Next, you say, modern sails work much more like an airplane wing. They bend the airflow, shown in the image in blue. Okay, wind blows along there, so it's causing a vacuum of the sort on this end, which pulls the sail forward, and this wind here. Okay, which doesn't show where the boat is on that. It just shows it coming. Anyway, I guess it pushes and pulls. I'm guessing. Anyway, force. This creates a force that tries to pull the sail. The force always points roughly 90 degrees away from the sail. Okay, right. So this pull that tries to push the sail. Push it in this direction. So it doesn't talk about pulling it, which I think would be an error. Okay, so I'm still thinking this wind pushes, and this, because it creates a vacuum, pulls. Next, force direction. Unfortunately, the direction of the force is not the same as the direction of the boat. Okay? Propulsion and drift. This pushes the boat forward, but also sideways. Okay, the sideways motion is called the drift. Some of it in this direction and some that direction. Okay. Minimizing drift. We want to move forward, not sideways. What's that line? Okay, so the boat is shaped in such a way that it easily moves forward, but pushing it sideways is a lot harder. The boat is shaped in such a way. This is how they show the boat. So this is the push that they're talking about, or pull. I don't know what this arrow is indicating. This is the drift they're talking about? And is this the direction the boat is going? So that, yeah, I think. Okay, so by minimizing it makes it a little curly line. I guess the green line is indicating the direction of the boat. So this is the force on the sail, and it forces the boat that way, and now we're trying to minimize this one, which is the drift, as we apparently have done, because it's now a little squiggly line. Pushing sideways is a lot harder. Now, against the wind. Okay, a modern boat can easily sail up to 40 to 45 degrees against the wind because the sideways components of the force in the sail is compensated as much as possible, and the forward component remains. Because the sideways component, which is this one, is minimized as much as possible. It sounds like it's saying the same thing it did before. As much as possible, and the forward component is maintained. So that's what we're doing here. But we're going into the wind in this case. So the wind's coming across here, which puts a heck of a lot of force that way, but because of the shape of the boat, with its keel, etc., it doesn't just roll over and go that way or slide that way. It forces the boat to go forward. And that's it. Wow. Sort of an anticlimax here. Okay, we hope this made sense. Kind of a little bit. And we are still on board here. This is one of the smaller boats, I think. Okay. Let's see. Apparent wind. I wonder how long that one is. Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, always against the wind. If you ever rode a bicycle and wondered why you hardly ever have the wind in your back, you know, I never wondered that. This tutorial is for you. No wind. It's a beautiful day with no wind at all. The boat is dead in the water. Now I can move around this time. Looks like Caribbean water. Okay, we're dead in the water because, well, number one, sails down. And well, we're not facing into the wind, so let's see what they have for us next. Moving forward, we don't have an engine, but let's suppose the boat would have one. You start the engine and the boat starts moving forward with respect to the sea and the air. Okay, here we are here, no sail, just puttering along. Standing on the boat, this would feel like wind, even though there is no real wind. Okay, so the wind's, you're going into the wind, essentially, not the wind's coming toward you. Speed of the boat, it appears as if there is wind, even though the true wind is still zero. This self-created wind is called the apparent wind. Ah, okay. I often wondered what that was. The speed of this apparent wind is, in this case, equal to the speed of the boat. Okay, that makes sense. But if there was a wind and it was blowing from the front, it would be greater. And if it was blowing from behind, it would be less. Wind 90 degrees. The wind has picked up and is coming from the side of the boat at 90 degrees. Okay. The true wind direction we're talking about now is 90 degrees, and the true wind speed is 10 knots. Okay, yeah, measuring it if you weren't sitting on a boat. You can check it in the navigation window. Can we? Oh, navigation window, which is up here. That's the direction. This is speed. That's heading. Over here is what they're talking about. True wind speed, right there, 10. And we won't look over that right now because we already know the answer. So, when the boat starts moving, oh look, the mast is going up. When the boat starts moving, it produces its, wow, we're really taking off here, folks. When the boat starts moving, it produces its own wind again, but the wind is added to the true wind, which is still coming from the side. Together, they form a wind that is seen from slightly more from the front. Yeah, that makes Is that KM or PM? Make that bigger here. Doesn't make that part bigger. Well, that's KM between the knots. Okay. Anyway, what we say getting together they form a wind that seems to be slightly more from the front. Okay, but it's coming from the side, which you wouldn't experience as wind coming from the front. So as you're moving forward, you should have the same speed. There's no vector coming in as far as wind from the forward direction. And you're not going sideways, you're going forward. Or maybe you are. No, you're not. This wind here, no, this is the wind here. And this is the wind created by the forward motion of the boat. And they're saying that together creates this wind. I'm not getting that, folks. This is the vector from the side. This is the vector from the front. See how moving forward is going to produce this. Right, I don't get that, but okay. Together they form a wind that seems to come slightly more from the front. Don't get that. Navigation window. Check up on the navigation window and you see the second needle. Second needle. Okay, this is I wrote that. So they say the true wind angle is 90 degrees. Okay, let's keep going. True wind angle, apparent wind, true wind direction, apparent wind direction. True wind direction, TWD is still 90 degrees. But the apparent wind direction, AWD, is equal to 50 degrees. It's coming in from the side. You're moving forward and you would feel it. If the wind was there, you'd feel it on your face, directly forward. If the wind was blowing in, I can see it being a psychological effect. I don't see it being a physical effect. Okay, let's keep going. Now check what has happened to the wind speed, true wind speed. The less is stood in knots. But the apparent true wind, 10 knots from the side. Vaguely get a sense how that would work, although it seems to be less fun. Because you're feeling the forward direction, winds coming from the side. Sure. Okay. The apparent wind speed is the wind we feel on our face, and is also the wind the sailors will experience. Oh, no, it's almost had it there. The boat is actually moving. It makes you feel the wind on your face. True wind going to the side. So if we were the sail, okay, now wait a second. You're no longer, is the motor still running? Is that what's confusing me? Okay, maybe it means you no longer have the motor running. Okay, so you turned off the motor, so the wind's coming in from the side. It's because the shape of the boat forces you forward. So, guess, kind of getting a vague notion of what the boat starts to make a little more sense. I was confused because they didn't say they turned the motor on. Okay, let's keep going. This is why some superboats can sail faster than the true wind. It's because they don't sail on true wind, they sail on apparent wind. The faster they sail, the stronger the apparent wind. I believe it. It's an interesting concept. Interesting concept. I like that. Okay, let's keep going. So the apparent wind direction changes gradually the faster we go. Okay, that makes sense. But when the boat speed is zero, the apparent wind direction is the true wind direction. This means that the person who controls the angle of the sail to match the apparent wind, has an important task. The sheets, which are ropes, have to be pulled gradually as the boat picks up speed and the angle of the apparent wind changes. Okay, I feel that. You feel me? The boat does not move. Okay. Back to zero. The boat does not move much anymore as the apparent wind direction is roughly 90 degrees. Why is that? Because of the way you see the telltales are just hanging down there. So somewhere you found an angle to the wind that balanced everything out. So next, now watch how the sheet rope is gradually pulled while the boat picks up speed and the apparent wind changes. Okay, details are straight out there now. And this is the wind. It's what, 45 degrees to the wind. Okay, keep going. That's it. Oh, okay. Hope this all made sense. We'll send it to she will rain started to work its way around it. Okay, good. We better stop here because we're 45 minutes in. So if you find this interesting, helpful, or annoying, or whatever, please, especially if you find it annoying, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to show your support for the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Very helpful. So, until next time, please do take care.